is usually built from lines of another poet and rearranged into a new poem. It's like a curated poem. So I found the speeches of Patrick Henry relevant and also poetic. So I'm going to start with one of those. I liked Patrick Henry so much over the years, even not knowing that much about him, and I still don't know enough, that I named my dog after him. My dog, who was a perfect gentleman, was named Henry, but his full name was Cathryn Hankla. So, this point is Mr. Liberty, selected passages from Patrick Henry. And this is based on the speech to the Second Revolutionary Convention. And they were working up to the revolution. That's March the 23rd, 1775. This is no time for ceremony. Should I keep back my opinions at such a time through fear of giving offense, I should consider myself as guilty of treason towards my country and of an act of disloyalty toward the majesty of heaven, which I revere above all earthly kings. Shall we acquire the means of effectual resistance by lying supinely on our backs and hugging the delusive phantom of hope until our enemies shall have bound us hand and foot? We are apt to shut our eyes against a painful truth and listen to the song of that siren till she transforms us into beasts. Let us not deceive ourselves, sir. The title of this poem is In the Garden, and it's kind of a sonnet in couplets. Tomatoes cling to withering vines, outpacing split skins and chill. At the end of the republic, some voices are heard and some not. Hasn't it always been like this? Your body a seed pod for what lies ahead. As Jesus said, I will, like Jonah, arise. They came weeping to tend his crib. He visited 2 Marys first. I go out into my garden, what's left of it giving last shrugs, seeking now just powdery leaves, places where the light might linger. My favorite part of the reading is when the reader takes a big sip of water and everybody hears it. This next poem is a little lighter, and the title is Four-Chambered Heart, and it was written for an anthology of kind of a field guide. I think it's titled To Southern Appalachia, and it takes a tour along creatures. And I was excited that the ruffed grouse was among the choices because I indeed had a story to tell about the ruffed grouse. So it was a perfect occasion to pull this poignant story forward. Four-chambered heart. Ruffed grouse, the longing in our four-chambered hearts was matched when you fluttered toward me as I sat, beer in hand, on my deck. At first, I didn't get it. You rounded my chair, dark collar and mottled tail and pouring, flexing, a banty dancer in fringed leggings and mask, circumnavigating, fantail waving its coal band, or butterflies, or a waterfall, puffy neck, a black planet you drew closer for reasons I did not understand. I thought my ribs quaked over nothing, but you thrummed for me, secreted in rush, and came according. The second day, your wings pulsed from my porch railings, rising in volume and complexity, finally blurring into love's purring engine. Hopping down to circle my chair with practiced artistry, you hoisted your tail, full sail, my astonishment almost complete. On the third day of your strutting display, worry turned me sullen. You obsessed, proud crest erect. I knew I had to go away, leave you for weeks. I prayed you'd find in my absence a perfect mate. You argued, a flutter and dipping in a whirl. I tried to work it through as you entreated and swayed, alone, almost flying with me, swerving out of tune before crashing back into wobbly orbit. Was I not moved by such order? I hope you found her. Yet I wait for your return. I'll never forget you, ruffed grouse, or your persistent drumming after what's impossible in this world, but maybe not in the next. This book has running poems running through it, and this is a sequence of running poems that are sonnets. So the overall title of these several is Running Commentary, and each one has its own little title. These would fall into the personal part of the culturally, environmentally, and personally. Okay.
Could you read a little closer to the microphone, please?
I'm trying to squinch down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It should tell us what it was, but I don't know.
Okay. This is better. I'll just lean over it.
I'm sorry, my 18 years.
You're fine. It's hard to stay right on this mic. See, you heard me sniff. All right, so the first one in the sequence I'm going to read is called Coal Train. These, all of these come out of my running around Roanoke on the Greenway, pretty much seeing the same things every day and watching them shift and change as I do myself. Coal Train. Overshadowed by engine 8157, hounding the historic rail walk, I am not bound for heaven. Neither am I every woman, it goes without saying. When to prefix man with woe indicates non-standard, questionable, in other words, nothing like the sun. I jog past heavily tagged cars loaded with deep pit coal that glitters like negative stars. Hero's journey, quest pattern. This is not that, ad infinitum. Bees knees. Though of woe born, I am no thud. I do take issue with the questions swept beneath my rug, but no hugs, please. They only serve to stir my cauldron, bless my heart, and buzz my bonnet's bees. You tighten the twitch around my tender muzzle as you irrigate the blooming wound, commanding my hobbled hooves be still. Do what you will in the name of healing. raise the roof if you must. I once fell at your feet, pledged forever, best friend, and help meet. You see where this is going, don't you? No, we're kidding. My sparrow. Abrupt, break my reverie, sparrow. I step over you, dank bird with no blood, victim felled by invisible blows that decimate yet leave no trace. Look to cumulonimbus clouds, chiaroscuro balancing my face, and can you, having flown, name their strata? I draw a blank. You taught me how to tame my inner hurricane, and for your sake, I strangled not to blurt the brooding questions that tore a path from God to this tired world, seeking answers forever untold. Cured. It felt like the world turned upside down and inside out, besieged by a medieval sword, piercing silence despite several lies unearthed. Your claims on crests and rights restored. No doubt, my failure at repression helped. Yet speaking truth had no clout in our boudoir. A tie can be many times cut and mended before its final rend. The puny bird is resting now and quite cured. I'm gonna step over here. Simple. I'm not crying at my work leaving.
It's happened.
It's the carpet.
It's happened.
I usually cry and sweat when I'm writing them. All right, so that was the end of that little sequence. This one's a little more fun. It's called Reverie. Reverie. 3 ladies in slick beehives are my love supreme. They sway the smooth hip, tip a gesture to the sky. Where did our love go? Burning, yearning, turning, hurts. You don't owe me the rest of, like silk in a knot. Ooh, baby, baby, your life.
Ah.
Yeah. So keeping along the path of favorite musical stars. This one's titled Transmogrify. Some claim Lady Gaga used to be a tiny baby. Some claim she used to be a housefly on the wall, a witness. Follow the link. In the baby, there rose a cry that grew into Rapunzel-like, unbelievably strong woven locks, or branches of a fatally flawed tree. Legends are for undying. All unlawful citizens were at one time scared. Their terror turned into terrifying. The trinkets of humanity jingle as they walk. No one is supposed to guess they bear resemblance, the uniformed and the man arrested. Here's a kind of strange pantoum, and it's a form that has a lot of repetition, so you'll hear refrains. I hear y'all have struggled with pantoums. So the title of this is Awful Project. The tank rolled toward my house, reaching an impossible height. It grew closer and parked. A tiny man climbed out. Reaching an impossible height, my roof peak rose no taller. A tiny man climbed out who tumbled several stories. My roof peak rose no taller than war, misery, or the soldier who tumbles several stories to land upright on military boots. Than war, misery, or the soldier, there is no more awful project. To land upright on military boots is to find a certain order. There is no more awful project, I presumed, but wrongly, than to find a certain order. Tiny man stormed my kitchen, I presumed, but wrongly, to find someone to murder. Tiny man stormed my kitchen in his boots, toting loafers. To find something to murder him with, I rummaged cabinets. In his boots, toting loafers, tiny man sat down to change. And just so you know how weird my dream life is, that came right out of my dream. That point, like, what is this crazy thing? All right, I'm gonna read I'm gonna read the title poem and then the last cento, because I got the signal over here. Signal has come. Okay, so here's the title poem of Not Xanadu, cleverly titled Not Xanadu. Tulip poplar turning leaves over in the breeze, translucent mitts that know what it means to grow when no one is looking. Ostensibly, every leaf is a beginner, but that is enough to start the bubbling that will blossom and surround these leaves with color when the season breaks. Azure means the blue of sky, an enormous idea patched through. Forget-me-not, blue water, blue breath, blue bells along roadsides, dogs rolling, and blue mysteries. So, no, this is not Xanadu, but here, there is the blue. And back to Patrick Henry for a somber note here. This one, this speech was given much later than the other one in the formation of the new country when Patrick Henry was very much opposed to the Constitution as it was written. And I'll read a little epigraph that sets up a little bit. This one's, the title is Mr. Liberty, Cento for the People. It comes from the speech given June 5th, 1788 at the Virginia Convention. And this is, I'm going to first read the epigraph, Article 3 of the Virginia Declaration of Rights, on which the Bill of Rights was based. Okay. That government ought to be instituted for the common benefit, protection, and security of the people, nation, or community, and that whenever any government shall be found inadequate or contrary to these purposes, the majority of the community hath an indubitable, unalienable, and indefeasible right to reform, alter, or abolish it. And then here is excerpts from Patrick Henry's speech. This, sir, is the language of democracy, but how different is the genius of your new Constitution from this. Your president may easily become a king. Where are your checks in this government? Your strongholds will be in the hands of your enemies. Show me that age and country where the rights and liberties of the people were placed on the sole chance of their rulers being good men without the consequent loss of liberty. If your American chief be a man of ambition, how easy it is for him to render himself absolute. The president in the field at the head of his army can prescribe the terms on which he shall reign master, so far that it will puzzle any American ever to get his neck from under the galling yoke. If ever he violates the laws, if he be guilty, will not the recollection of his crimes teach him to make one bold push for the American throne? What will then become of you and your rights? Can you believe that?